Center yourself.
Hello, I'm Jashikins, and welcome to the second ever episode of With Extra Happy, titled
My eyes are up here. Like, totally. It's relevant.
It's relevant, but fuck, it's like, I was like, I needed like a week of preparing for that.
Just me saying it to you over and over and over again.
Until it's not funny.
Yeah.
But to our confused viewers, this is my co-host,
Kitor.
and this week we're talking about Andalites, the bastards of the universe.
Well, second most bastards.
Well, there's the Elemist.
Yeah. Well, I would say the Elemist, like, kind of Yerks, kind of Andalites are kind of like share number 2 spot. But,
yeah, sure. The Elemist is number 1 because he's like,
well, no,
I totally don't interfere, but Tobias, you're not getting a normal, family like you totally could have. Oh, and when I give you back your morphine ability, yeah, fuck you. I mean, it's sort of a good decision what he did, but he wasn't exactly honest.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
we can talk about that later.
What?
We can talk about that later. We know how you are with Tobias.
Sorry,
Your little hawk stud.
I'm a little what?
That's your little hawk stud.
Damn, fucking right, and don't you forget it.
Okay, we're talking about Andalites.
Okay. The interesting thing that K.A. Applegate does in this series is, in the first book, it seems very well defined who the villains and who the good guys are. The bad guys, just plain bad, are the Yerks, while the saviors of the universe are the Andalites.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Not true. Especially that one schmuck captain, and what was the one with the axe turned into a mosquito?
That was the captain that portrayed, every...
Yeah, to the Yerks.
You were thinking of the same one.
Yes, I was trying to think of the title of the book.
Oh yeah, it was Axe turns into a mosquito. This is how we remember our books, folks.
Let me see, sorrowpedia.com or whatever it is. But yeah, are there good Andalites? Yes. Are there bad Andalites? Yes. And we're gonna basically rip everything about them in the series and talk pros and cons, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'll try to be passive aggressive as possible, not yelling and lashing out, even though I started the episode in not too good of a fashion. Here's my opinion.
Okay, topic number 1.
Well, we were just talking about topic number 1, but anyways.
Well, we can talk. Yeah. Well, anyway, let me see. Topic number 1, good, bad. Well, we have Elfangor. He is kind of like the,
Actually, we can save that till the good part.
The good part? Oh, go evil first.
Why I chose such like a small, little section to start off with.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm poor planning. I'm not a good host. I'm sorry, folks. We're very professional here.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, first, second, maybe even to the 10th episode will be like this. So
maybe all the way to our 1-year anniversary. Still haven't figured it out. Okay, the first thing is differences between the sexes, both basically both societal and physical.
Well, for one thing, here's the thing about girls. Girls are the pretty ones. You think that the blue on the Andalites, the blue, peach, whatever color, is all nice and everything, but the girls are purple, are like this lavender purple with, I think on the cover of the Hork-Bajir Chronicles, they have gold hooves.
I'd have to double check that out. I don't
Yeah,
think.
they're kind of like a yellow gray kind of color, but it gives off the color of like gold, and their eyes are I think the same way. And let me see. I'm still going to Sarapia. But yeah, and big differences. Just like in animals, they are smaller. They don't have a well-defined tail blade. It's more like if you put like a male's tail blade to like a scythe blade, and theirs is more like decrease it down like to a third. And they said that it's more. I think the description looked more like a scalpel design blade. Um, but yeah, if you want to see a good example, look for the cover of the Hork-Bajir Chronicles.
Oh yeah,
And
that's the actual. I think only canonical drawing of a female Andalite,
yeah,
at least on
and
the
you know what?
cover. Like
And you know what? Okay, you know the back of the book where it has Dak and what's her
Aldria.
face? Yeah, Aldria. Together. I remember getting that book, and people are like, "Oh, what's this? Oh, weird aliens!" And they look at the back, and they see that, and they're like, "Oh, he's totally fucking her," because her butt is kind of positioned, with his hips and everything. And I'm just
I
like,
know I'm for a banner I run for my blog, like
mm-hmm,
and it required me sort of to shrink the back of the cover a little bit. And so that's when, like, I was looking, at it yesterday, and I was like, I hope people don't think I'm posting interspecies porn.
so you had the same thought.
No, but I had to be shrunk and sort of squeezed, and I was like, that's
Wait
porn.
a minute.
It took me a while. I read it in my, like, maybe mid to early teens, maybe. I'm 27 now.
Yeah,
It took a
yeah,
while. I got there.
yeah. We never, people say that, you will grow up. No, you won't.
No, you get mature thoughts, but you fucking don't grow up. You see other things fucking when they aren't. Are those
Yeah,
things?
yeah. But
Of course.
but for the females in the society of the Andalite homeworld, we never got a name. Some people say, like do fan canon, call it Anda or something like that. Um, Females are usually artists or scientists or florists or something in the
Screens.
way of, yeah, or yeah, the estrine is a word meaning a morphine artist. That, it's like with Cassie,
Yeah, Cassie.
she would be called that. And that means that with their morphine, they could turn it into basically physical artwork,
Well,
as they morph.
yeah, it's like the majority of the time when the other animorphs morph, it's like this disgusting thing, and I actually love writing, morphine scenes just because I'm like, how can I get this more fucked up than like, have I just did this too much? But Cassie and other streams can, for one thing, they can sort of morph quicker and I think morph more often, and they can make morphine look pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of
Except for a
like
fly. You can't make fly look
a
pretty.
trout, fly trout. It's
A trout.
yeah, yeah. In the third book, it's like every book they're like, oh, Cassie's like the best morpher, and then there's always the one morph that, oh my God, Cassie can't even make that look good. When it's like, we have that through every book. If she's like the best morpher who hardly makes a morph look bad, don't do it every single book.
I know. Let's see, the fly, the trout. She even made Going Hork-Bajir look good. She was able. She was able to get the blades to come out when she wanted them to, like
Oh, in
pop,
the
pop,
Australia
pop,
book.
not just yeah.
That
And
no one hardly
but yeah,
talks
female
about.
Andalites. Yeah, but female Andalites, they're very put into this very sexist, um, what's the good word for it? Um, um,
Society.
like bubble. Yeah, very sexist bubble of like, no, you guys are supposed to be over here doing all this stuff. Yeah, you could be scientists making biological weapons for us, and and all this kind of thing. But you can't fight because look at your tails; they're just not good enough.
Yeah, and now it points out in the Hork-Bajir Chronicles that, if even if someone points out, like, the blade's smaller, we have fucking morphing technology and shredders. We have long-distance weapons where, the physical form now isn't the most important thing about fighting.
Yeah, it kind of parallels how, especially with even to our day in our society, that they're kind of like, what, women on the ground, shooting, blah 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 blah. Blah. Remember, just a couple years ago, they let women on the battlefield, and totally, you can relate to it. But with the men, of course, they're the warriors, they're the professors, they're the, people in power. And once we talk about like their council, whatever, the governmental power, that's gonna be fun. Especially at the end of the book. The book series.
Yeah. Oh, always great again, I'm sorry we don't put a spoiler warning, but we're talking about all things Animorphs, so and it's and it was made in the 90s, so where the fuck were you reading it? So, just whatever.
Most of them people
we're
watch
born, shut up.
Born.
Okay. And anyways, at the end of the series, like, the Andalites come, and this is the point where we've been waiting since the first book to finally end the war, and they're like, yeah, we're going to just, destroy all humans.
Well, no, we're going to quarantine the planet. Yeah, we're going to quarantine the planet.
No Homo book, or the book where Axe has a girlfriend for a little bit.
Eastrid?
Eastrid, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. That is, when it comes to, he was totally surprised in that book at the arrival. These four Andalites, I think, yeah, it's four. They come down to Earth, and there's like, oh, you guys arrived. No, we're kind of on a mission here to kill Visitor 3.
Yeah.
And on the sidelines, Axe starts thinking, it's like, ooh, girl, I haven't seen one in a long time. Yeah, and she's smart, and she's basically an Andalite Mary Sue.
Well, I think Axis, turns to Marco and goes, yeah, your butthole's not going to be touched anymore.
Well, the thing is that with Eastrid, she was this scientist that, they're kind of like, the lie was that she was a, how do you say that word? The space cadet word.
I don't know if it has any canon pronunciation, but it's like, I pronounce it artist. Actually,
yeah,
I don't know
that sounds close. That sounds
artist.
pretty much, yeah. And the thing is, Axe like, what? Women? Females that can be warriors now? And she's like,
oh, wait,
yeah.
wait, hang on. Rachel, Cassie.
Yeah. But then with his own people, he's like, what? But we'll go on individuals and but yeah, in the society, females are basically, put to the side, pretty much like 18th or 19th century Earth standards. In that, if you think about it in that way, of but society, for the longest time, Andalites can only have one child, which very Chinese.
You're so funny.
What?
What?
What is it? It is. It's very Chinese.
I know.
And then when the war broke out with the Yeerks, are like, we're allowing you guys to make other Andalite babies for warriors.
Because we sort of want a good influx of people to die.
Yeah. Yeah, even at the end, I guess, I think it would be the end of the Andalite Chronicles, Elfangor was kind of like, what? I'm getting a little brother after he comes back from his whole 2 years as a human, blah, 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 making it Tobias, and then has to leave him, blah, 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 blah. But,
He saw his father getting eaten alive first time they met and he didn't even know it. I have feelings.
but, let me see. What else is there that you can think of?
Yeah, it's like, you've basically covered it.
Well, I'm trying to think of, oh, at the end of the series, remember how the kids, the Animorphs, they're kind of like, wait a minute, your government, government wants to do this. All right, we'll screw the Andalites over with doing this. And do you know what I'm talking about?
I know at the end, the Animorphs have to make their own move because the Andalites aren't exactly much help.
Yeah. So when they did that broadcast that was supposedly to the government, they did like I guess it would be a sub broadcast to the whole freaking planet, so all the civilian Andalites could see how screwed up their government was.
I haven't, reread the whole series, and so I haven't got up to that part, but
Yeah, and the thing is that the whatever war prince that was talking was like, no, we're gonna quarantine Earth and blah 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 blah, and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, well, checkmate, we win. When they realized it. But yeah, they're a very, very domineering male society. That's what we're mostly just saying in the long run.
it just, the males will, no, just are dicks.
Yeah. Except for Elfangor.
That brings us to our next subject. Thing you like most about them, including individual members. So continue. That was a good.
Oh, no. I talk too much. You start first. I talk too much. You start first.
No, you've perfectly segued into Elfangor.
Yeah, Elfangor, you would call him. Yeah, he's known as the War Prince hero, the lost hero, because of those 3 years that he was away. Elfangor started off a little bit as a goofball, when he was at the.
It's really extremely prideful. Like, I'm going to do good, and then Arbrun, his friend, and you don't really know why. He's really the joking one, and Elfangor's like.
I know, but the thing is, at the same time, he's just kind of like, oh, with his tailblade teacher, he's just kind of like, I could do better. This old, horse and hoof, whatever the word was, old hoof or whatever. But he really, he acted like a jock, but with a goofy side of him. Yeah. And Elfangor, a lot of people say very noble. He died for basically for Earth and for his son and everything else. That's why we love him so much. And he fell in love with a human. Here's the thing about Andalites. They seem, even though they're very prideful of thinking they're superior species, they love to have interspecies relationships. They can't help it.
It's funny because I might blame Animorphs for my now sort of interspecies kink.
Oh God!
Because there's a lot of it in the series. Subtext or non-canon, and canon stuff, and Andalites are all very, very prideful of we're the best species, no other species better than us than Elfangor and Lauren, Aldrea and Doc.
And and it's just really, really weird. It's kind of like in somewhere in their DNA when the Elemis was created, it's like, here's a little Captain Kirk DNA right here.
The
By the
Captain Kirk
way,
gene.
yeah. By the way, the Elemis created the Andalites. You know, this is before he went God mode. You know, when he was still his own species, he was trying to, populate the universe with very happy or very positive species, and he created the Andalites. And then, he becomes a myth in their mythos, in their religion and everything as a trickster. He's basically like a Loki type character, and and even in the books when I don't does the Elemis ever say
Say
he
what?
created them? Did the Elemis ever say to like Axe or the Animorphs, "Yeah, I created you"?
Well, I'm just on a number 7 where the Elmis makes his first official appearance, in the series. The Andalite Chronicles came out a little later.
Mm-hmm.
But he comes, there, and Axe is pissed off at Cena, and I'm like, they're just jerks. They'll lie, tell you that you have a choice when you don't really have any. Fuck off.
Yeah, and yeah, they have a very misconstrued idea about what the Elemis is. They first, like you just said, thought they were a race, and it's like, no, it's one guy that is basically
I
God.
want them to be a race.
I know, I did too.
It would have been so much. They had so much potential, and then it's like, oh, it's just one guy. That's
Yeah,
as a
yeah.
gamer. Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of like I don't know if you like the Stargate series,
I haven't seen
SG-1. There's a race of I guess you would call them like the higher species version of humans. They're usually called the ancients. And before they left the like the end of time of Doctor Who, it's like, no, screw the universe. We're gonna go to a higher plane of existence. The ancients were basically like that, and they had quasi godlike powers. And so when I started reading the series, in number 7, we get the elements, and I was like, oh, we're getting that kind of species, and then find out it's one guy, and but yeah, he was basically, when he created the Andalites, he was kind of like playing Avatar. Yeah, he had his own Andalite that he would run around with, and even hooked up with another Andalite and made babies.
No one. That's why. That's why the Andalites have an interspecies.
Oh, you think that?
Let's see. The guy that created them had an interspecies kink, so.
Yeah, he's like, I'm the only one left. I might as well.
Fuck it. Literally.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah, and so their creator becomes this mischievous trickster, and Andalites hate him or whatever. And especially, what we call stacking the deck between the Elemis and the Karak. Krayak?
That's how I pronounce. I don't know if there's any official pronunciation, but mine is always correct.
Well, whatever. Catherine Applegate, you need to put out a audio series of just pronunciations.
Yes, please do. That would just take away so many arguments.
It's like in Harry Potter where J.K. was like, no, it's not Accio, it's Accio, and we're like, oh, do that for us.
The fourth book in the Harry Potter series, the line where Hermione is pronouncing her name to Victor Crumb, that line was in there because people kept on pronouncing the character's name wrong.
Believe me, I totally got it on the first try because I'm a Shakespeare nut, and her name is Shakespearean. So I was like, Hermione. So it's right there. People are just stupid. I I think it's mostly the parents didn't know how to pronounce those names, and the kids were like, no, but it's this way, and the parents are like, no, it's this way. I think that's what it was. Anyway,
Another good thing about the Andalites, or another...
morphine. Hey.
Oh, yeah. Yo.
Morphine. Hey.
I need the morphine
Everybody.
power for this.
Yeah, there's your battle morph. I need one. I don't have my plushies around me, so I can't show.
I have... Oh, hang on. This is going... Hang on.
Let's see what she brings out. Let's see what she brings out. What? What is it?
Okay. There's two.
Uh-oh.
This is for Marco.
Little monkey plushie. Yep.
And then just...
A seal or a polar bear.
No, it's a seal.
It's a seal. Okay.
Look at the little tail. It's good.
Got that at SeaWorld?
What?
Did you get that at SeaWorld?
No, God. Okay, I'm going to fling you and I'm sorry. Sorry? Okay, okay, sorry. I didn't want to disconnect again. But I got them at airport store at Salt Lake City.
Oh, okay.
When I went to California.
Oh, yeah, when you were on my side of the United States.
Yeah.
And then you try to say, hey, let's hook up.
Oh, sorry, I'm engaged.
Nah, not that way. But yeah, let me see. We got Elfangor, we got Arvin. Axe, yeah.
Axe is just so...
He's adorable.
Yeah, he's just adorable. Buns.
Oh yeah, with the morphine, I know it's just saying, hey, you can turn into animals, but there's so many qualities for it.
You get instincts as well as just getting the body. This is helpful because some animals don't exactly move like humans. Mm-hmm. And so Andalites don't have mouths.
Yeah.
So
when
Axe first gets the, Morse human, he performs a Furless maneuver, which is where you acquire the DNA of different members of a species to create one morph, and he acquires all the Animorphs except Tobias because you can't acquire a non-flit. Mm-hmm. And so he, Morse human, and he starts trying to play with, sounds because, he's never had a mouth before. And then his other little quirk when he's human is if he can put it in his mouth, he will.
Yeah. Everything has a flavor, just like the 10th Doctor. You know how he always looks on stuff and analyzes it? That's kind of like Axe. He's put with a paper plate or something. Huh?
Cigarette butts.
And but yeah, everybody thinks around all the regular people thinks he has like a stuttering problem. But he just loves the way the sounds come out of the vocal cords, and saying 1,000, thou. He's very almost kind of like like a speech, like vocalizing, like the way actresses or singers kind of thing. He's just like he's trying to understand every single syllable, but it comes off as just damn goofy. But with that, there's a healing ability that morphine has.
Yeah. Which is
for certain people.
Oh, okay. So let me finish up about Axe, and then we can talk about Marco.
Okay.
Okay. What? And so, like, he has this, very goofy when he's in human morph, just because it's hard for him to control everything with the sounds and the taste. And
being on two legs.
Yeah, being on two legs, which he won't shut the fuck up about. And but when he's in his own natural Andalite form, he's very intelligent.
Mhm.
No, he's intelligent, but at the same time, he's, strangely enough, even though he's trained, he is the newest one of the group, and he hasn't fought as much. Like, when the Animorphs rescue Axe, they're like, oh, it's just Fisher 3 again, and Axe is, like, pissing his pants.
Yeah. And then until he finally says, "Yeah, I'm just a cadet," and they're kind of like, "What?
What? Fuck it.
We risked our lives for,
Fucking
yeah,
cadet.
for a red shirt."
Red shirt. Rachel's the red shirt. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
But hey, the longest lasting red shirt.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where you put it.
Yeah.
It's not just one book and boom.
Wait,
Elfangor would be that.
No, he's just a figure to get the story rolling. I wouldn't say he's a red shirt. He's just.
I know, but I was trying to go with a red shirt analogy.
Yeah, I know. I'm an asshole. And so, Axe is the least used to fighting, and he does stupid things. But without Axe, they wouldn't have gotten nearly as much information.
Oh yeah, just imagine if Axe wasn't there when they were in that mosquito morph and they went into Z-space. If you guys don't know, Z-space is basically like warp drive. Whenever
Or
you
hyperspace.
see or hyperspace, it's basically
you're a good person.
Yeah, you are very good in art books if you know those words and understand I guess the quantum physics of it. It's basically making a temporary wormhole. And what happens is that when you morph, all the extra body mass, especially when you go small, goes into Z-space. And it's just a big old bundle of mush. So, I mean, if they ever make this a movie, they have to kind of edit that down a little bit.
It's sad that I wrote like a blog post like a day or two ago talking about how like these YA books can have really fucked up stuff in them, and then they go up for adaptation. It's like, think of the children, what they're not able to stand it.
Oh yeah, that's a great article. If you want something to read about, think of the children, especially like compared to like Hunger Games and Divergent and everything. Oh, I just want to tell you real quick. I did finish the last book.
Oh, good. Hey. Yeah.
What? We're now in an audio format, so you have to describe what you're doing. Yay! The last.
I bought it at Publix because I went to Target and they didn't have it. Publix had it.
Yeah, and by the way, if you guys think that we're going off topic, Veronica Roth is an Animorphs fan, so fuck you. She is part of this conversation anytime.
Oh God! How about with a Future with Extra Happy episode, we do a comparison between Trish and Rachel and Thor and Tobias. I refuse to call him Tobias. There's only one Tobias bitch.
But yeah, with let me see with Axe. Yeah, just imagine book 18 without Axe explaining how these kids got the morphine ability, and they're like, Elfangor, what?
Yeah, that would not be. That'd be like no. Elfangor is like a war hero.
Yeah, and
let's not mention Arbron because apparently becoming a non-poet is a bad thing, even if you do it in times when you need to.
Yeah, he's the forgotten hero of the Andalite military, I guess, because the morph he got stuck into was a taxon, which, if you guys don't know, is a huge freaking centipede. It's a huge freaking orange yellow centipede with lobster claws on the front.
It's a cannibalistic space worm.
Yeah, and
self-cannibalistic.
Yeah, and
For
cell
kids.
cannibalism. Yeah. Once they're like they're like a centipede kind of thing, but with shark instincts of they smell blood, they go for it. you know, and that's what he got stuck as. Because if you read Andalite Chronicles, and we're gonna get a friend of ours who's never read Animorphs, we're telling him go read the Andalite Chronicles. It was against Josh's wishes,
Yeah,
but I
just because
suggested it.
because it has a plot twist of Alfengor being Tobias's father. Really long story short, which I'll bitch him on at later. Not for them being related, but applying to the Almist his hand in it. And I think
Yeah.
it's much better to be read after book 23 the first time around. And in my other Animorphs podcast, Zone 91, where I'm rereading the books with a guest, with a co-host, we'll be covering the Andalite Chronicles after book 23.
But from what I know of our guest, he said he's enjoying the pants off of it. And so when he dives into the evasion, he's like, okay, everything makes sense. But yeah, we got. Let me see. Oh, how do you
Morphine
say?
ability healing, that's what we were
Yeah,
going on.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Morphine ability healing. It only works when it's something that you weren't born with. Um, so if you were in a car accident and you broke your legs and you morphed into like a pigeon and then morph back,
Pigeon?
you're healed. Yeah,
Sorry.
pigeon.
Too much of Tobias in me. I've been role-playing Tobias in the forums, and now I got someone to finally do a Marvel and Animorphs crossover, so now I'm really in the Tobias mindset, and I just edited the latest chapter of The Dawning last night, so I'm like really, really Tobias.
Yeah, so
Just continue.
yeah, so yeah, with morphine, that could be a whole freaking episode of just like what if, what if, what if, what if, because of its healing ability. When we get the auxiliary animorphs, a lot of them have physical disabilities, and the main one, James, his was, I think it was a car accident.
Or
Um,
skiing. Was it skiing or car?
Skiing? No, 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 no. That was one of the girls. When she was lying about how it happened. Um, but she has cystic fibrosis, whatever it is. She just wanted to make it sound cool of how she got hurt. But James, he got healed, and it was only him and two other people out of what 17? Out of 17 kids that got healed from their disabilities or their diseases or whatever. So it can heal, but to a certain point. I can never remember his name, but the two Andalites, you would say the gay couple, Josh.
I'm sorry, I haven't got to that book. I was like totally oblivious to any, um, homoerotic subtext. Like the
I
first
don't
really.
see it, but you do.
No, I'm just homoerotic, a sort of a literary term for homos and generally LGBTQ plus stuff. But I want to sound literary for a moment. But there's like Marco now, like as I was starting my reread, people were saying about Marco's obviously closeted, and I didn't remember that from my millions of rereadings of the books when I was younger. And now, like by this, like the second or third book, I'm like, yeah, he's gay.
See, I don't see it. I reread the whole friggin' series just recently, and I don't see
The thing
it.
is, he's just too. He might. I'd go with either bi or gay, just because he seems to like
Bi-curious, maybe?
bi. Let's just use bi. Let's not do bi
Okay.
curious. But he just seems to be too. I'm totally into girls. See, I'm totally a macho man, and I'm definitely not attracted to Axe whatsoever.
Hmm.
And it's just like, he's cute, but I'm a guy, so I don't think like that. Like every fucking single time.
What, Margot saying that about
Axe.
Axe?
Yes, it's
Oh,
like
in his
he's
human
cute.
morph. Yeah, yeah.
No,
Well, all of them say
or
that.
it just, I think it might even be in his Andalite form. It's like, it's cute, but you know, it's until he
Well,
dies.
they all say that from a distance they look really cute.
They are cute. X is adorable. It's like everyone is an asexual.
Asexual. Only with extra happy you will get words coined like asexual. But okay, with morphine also, let me see. The big downside, as everybody knows, the 2 hour time limit.
Tobias.
Yeah, Tobias, Arbron. We got what's her face, that Yerk.
Aftran.
Aftran. Yeah, I know them, but I'm like name. But yeah, the only time that a Yerk got to morph
In
before
the series.
shit went down with Cassie losing the box on purpose. So she got to be stuck as a humpback whale, which I thought, shut up, which I thought was very appropriate, especially something that wouldn't be so out of the box of her, of what she's used to as her physical body, you know. But yeah, the other thing, but a lot of people say with the morphine, there could be like a couple minute delay. I think you said this before, of trying to get yourself back to whatever you are. It just slowly sucks trying to get yourself to mentally get back to yourself. Like in book 3, they were the
No,
kids were
nope, nope,
morphing from
nope,
wolves.
nope. Fuck, nope.
What?
I know the scene.
Yeah, yeah. Tobias is watching the other kids trying to demorph from wolves, and they realize, oh shit, we've gone past 2 hours. Let's just do it. And like Marco's head popped out, and the rest of it was wolf. And just what was it? Where are you at? I don't see you.
You get done with this scene and I'll come back.
It traumatizes you that much?
Well, no, I don't know if that compares to the ant scene in book 5.
Oh, I forget about the ant scene. Yeah, that was horrible.
Oh, God.
Anything with insects.
The times while rereading as a child, but continue with the wall.
Yeah. Let me see. Your hands appearing where your back feet were. So yeah, that's the really, really downside of it. A lot of people, when they write fan fiction, they always try to put that little Mary Sue of they get like memories of like whoever they got. I mean, not just basic instinct.
Technically, if they were following the morphine rules from the first book, Jake seemed to get some memories from Homer.
Yeah.
That is a Kasu.
A cashew.
Those taste good.
Yes, I know. When I finally figured that out, I was like, oh, cashew. Oh, okay. But yeah, with morphine, that is probably the best thing about Andalites is creating that technology, especially after the end of the series where humans got a few of the morphine cubes. And
it's Andalite military, and Jake gets to teach them.
Yeah, even though some people would be like, what, especially Cassidy with the idea of morphine therapy, especially with the auxiliary animorphs, they're kind of like, oh my God, we're not stucking ourselves no more. There were some kids that could not move at all. They were practically paralyzed. And there was one kid, Timmy, he had a stuttering problem, and he starts going off like, just saying the most biggest words he could think of. and he's like, you know what sucks more than this and this and this? Having a stuttering problem and a big vocabulary and knowing musicals and da-da-da-da-da. So morphine can bring so much to people. I wish if anything from sci-fi world was real, it would be the cube. It would be the morphine ability. That would help so many people. well, interstellar space, everybody does that.
Yeah, that's sci-fi. At
Yeah.
least a good portion of sci-fi, though. Some sci-fi is, of course, taken place here on Earth, like Terminator,
And
and a bunch of
Stargate.
Doctor Who episodes.
Mhm.
All
Mhm.
time and space to go through when he goes to modern-day Britain a lot.
Yeah. And for the Animorphs, they're usually in California.
Well,
Yeah,
they're
off planet
fighting
here and there, but
accidentally.
accidentally, or the illness, or elements. Bleh. I've been listening to Thought Speak, and they keep saying Elamist on me, and I'm like, no,
Elemist.
Elamist.
That's how I pronounce it. You can say like your boyfriend over at Thought Speak says it if you
Oh,
want.
shut up. He has a crush on me, okay? But we won't get into that. Anyway, what's the other topic about Andalites?
Okay, let's see, I only said Axe, you've said Alfangor, and morphine ability. I like Ar Arbron and Alaran are two of the good Andalites. Now, Alaran, okay, he's done some bad shit and he, deserves to be thought less of that, but all the time having Visher 3 in his head,
Hmm.
it probably gave him a brand new perspective on life.
Well,
Sad thing to say is that horrible incident probably was the best thing for him.
yeah, yeah. Was being stuck as the only Andalite controller and having that on him, even though it
It
was
was
his fault.
Elvanger's fault.
What? It
Nothing.
was Fangor's fault?
Well, if the fucker didn't knock him out.
Oh, that's right, that's right. But thing is that yeah, he became the most disgraced Andalite on the planet because you just don't do that. You rather kill yourself than become a controller, which axes over again. But when Aftran goes in his head to save his life in number 29 for brain surgery,
Accidentally.
yeah, oh my God, she's like, Axe is waking up and he's screaming at the top of his lungs in here. but uh, but the two Andalites that were able to survive the battle above Earth at the same time where Alfangor came to Earth at the beginning of the book, they crashed on Earth, and one is what we're going to talk about is a well he was allergic to morphine, so he couldn't morph, but he was a great pilot. Um, but when he got hurt, his tail got chopped off.
Yeah, and for those of you who are watching this and aren't Animorphs fans, the tail blade of an Andalite is basically sacred. It's like if touching an Andalite's tail blade is like touching a guy's dick. You just don't do it.
Or it's just they surround the whole culture over morning rituals where they I give my life for the cause and blah 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 blah, and they have their tail to their throat, you know um and his gets chopped off, and it's basically kind of like, oh, I am useless. I can't morph. It can't grow back because of the severity of the injury. um um well, he was allergic anyway. But so he comes something called
Vehicle.
a Vicol.
I don't. If you have different pronunciations, type away.
Yeah.
I'll
And
ignore you, but it'll be nice to see.
yeah, and so on the Andalite homeworld, when you become a Vicol,
Vehicle.
you uh, I always say
Sorry, you say it your way. I'm sorry.
uh, 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 a Vicol, and you are basically put like on the other side of the world.
Like, no, vehicles are the disabled. That's basically the Andalite word for disabled.
Yeah. And they think that they have to put them away in the special areas because of they're so fragile. You know, that they're not going to be productive people in society. Kind of like in a way of like putting people like in sanatoriums or uh, asylums. Um, Thinking that, okay, if we put them away in this nice big old area, everything will be fine. Almost like you always see like ghost hunters go into these
I
sanatoriums or
don't watch
insane
Ghost
asylums.
Hunters because I have taste.
Well, I'm just saying of the basic idea. They always go into these like hospitals and everything, and there was this one where they said, yeah, people, it's like people with back in the 40s, 50s, they would take their kids that had like Down syndrome and anything like that, Tourette's or anything, and basically take them to these places and say goodbye and never and pretend they don't exist. And that's what Vicols are in the Andalite world. And so when we have one on Earth, he's sheltered away. I think his name is Mertil.
Yeah,
Um,
there's definitely an M, and it sounds
yeah,
almost like a Pokemon.
Mertil. Meow! Meow, meow! Um, and so even when he gets introduced to the Animorphs, he tries to hide his tail as much as possible until Axe figures out, oh crap, I can't be around you. It's almost like they're
Oh, fuck
diseased.
you, Axe, you're lovable, but fuck.
I know that. I mean, as much as we love the Andalites, they are
Dick.
twisted. They're twisted, and and the kids, they try to teach Axe, no, it's okay to be around them. And then goes and say, okay, with the auxiliaries, okay, then why do you guys put you're disabled in a hospital? And it's like, fuck, we don't have an answer for that.
Stop using logic.
I know. But yeah, that's another part of Andalite society is that they're dicks with their disabled people. Um, but let me see. What
We
was the
were
other
supposed
part?
to be talking about the good stuff.
I know, but it seems like more we go down the like bad, 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 bad.
See, this is why I'm passive aggressive.
Well, so am I.
Going off topic.
but
Okay.
but thing is that when we bring in the arrival with the four Andalites, there's three guys and then Istrid.
One
Um, yeah, one chick. We learned that Andalites are not all, military. There's actually one guy, he was, what, an organ, like, smuggler? He would go after all these battle scenes and basically take organs, and he was smuggling them and selling them and all this kind of stuff. It's like, what the hell? She was able to bring the Andalites down a pedestal. To a more like, oh, a lot of them can be assholes. Topic.
What?
Which one? I know that you have some left.
I have some what?
Topics left on your little thing.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about cheesecake. I should have said cinnamon buns. That was the best point.
Yeah, the whole episode. What? Oh, by
Okay,
the
when
way,
you edit it, just edit the cheesecake part out and do the cinnamon buns.
Okay.
Even though it'll sound crappy.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, we're on iTunes now, so put us in your RSS feed, and you get us, every other week. But yeah, oh shit, I had a good comment, but I think I'm talking too much.
Okay. No, you totally are. Don't worry.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Let's see. Good things. Let's see. We covered
Yeah, I'm evil,
people.
you're good.
We just converged those two, but we started talking about, oh, this is totally good. Then it's like, okay, and
Yeah, bring us back to the good stuff about him.
okay, now we're going to fully focus on the bad without worrying about that nosedive. We're just going to go straight in.
Yeah, I think I pretty much did it.
Let, let's let's see. The Hork the Hork-Bajir, when the kids first meet them, Malfinger's like, yeah, they're actually really sweet people. They just all been enslaved, and the kids are like, yeah, fuck right. And you come to find out that the Yeerk started invading the Hork-Bajir world, and so the Andalites, this little group led by Alran, he
Hmm.
decided that, I prefer the Hork-Bajir to be dead than, to be foot soldiers of the Yeerks.
He thinks he was doing a good thing.
Yeah, it's fucked up and it's wrong, but
Yeah, if we commit genocide on basically the best foot soldier for the Yeerk Empire, we could cripple the Yeerks.
yeah, but the thing is, he seems to not notice or not care that they're actual creatures, that they're like children,
Hmm.
human children in terms of intelligence. Like, I remember one part of the Hork-Bajir Chronicles clearly, Dak, who's a seer, who's around average human intelligence, is like draws a little picture of one of his friends, and then he says, "Hey friend, look at that picture. That's you." And the friend's like, I'm not that, I'm me. So there's obviously a disconnect between not really realizing symbolism like drawings.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not dirt. I'm me. You know, that's dirt down there. I'm me.
Yeah, so
So
when
they,
like people argue about, oh, the Hork-Bajir intelligence, they're like, no, they're little children. They're not, for the most part, they're not intelligent creatures, and that's, recognizing symbolism like that is one of the, like a child thing.
hmm and then all around, he just thought that because of the Yeerks invading there, he pretty much, was it he was given that quantum virus or whatever, or did he make it? I think he was given that.
I don't know. It was a trick for using it either way.
Yeah, and the Andalite military basically, I would say they were kind of like, yeah, let's do it if you have to, and he practically did. So all the Hork-Bajir that you see in the series are Yeerk grown,
Yeah,
if
they're
not survivors of the home world.
yeah, and it's only with in number 13, the book where Tobias gets his morphine powers back, and there's a little Hork-Bajir valley for them to actually thrive in and not be under control.
Hmm.
Is that's when there's actually new kids that are born that have never been enslaved by Yerks.
Yeah, yeah, Toby, named after Tobias. And she is a shear. She is, and she later becomes the leader of her people at the end of this series. And because if you have, above average, even she was above average intelligence. The Hork-Bajir are like, you are our leader.
Yeah, yeah, seers have above average Hork-Bajir intelligence.
Yeah. But yeah, all around he did that, and then he got enslaved, and then all those years of enslavement, and then when he finally at the end of the series is freed, and when the Andalite Council or whatever, it was kind of like how you know Visor 3, what? Or Visor 1, what? Da 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 da. There's all around on the screen. And he said, yeah, it's over. These kids did this. And
You
they're
did
like,
jack fucking shit.
yeah, yeah.
Heads, because I know, the Hork-Bajir your homeworld? Fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys were going to quarantine the whole planet. So, yeah, Alaran tried to get some of his dignity back
Yeah.
after he was finally freed. And,
I would have loved a lot more of post-war Alaran.
yeah, I know.
And then the Stormlight Chronicles, my own little fanfic. Eventually, I'm going to write some of that once the war finishes, because I really would have loved that to see how he changed.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, with the Andalites, after the war was over, the Yeerk War, the mighty Andalite Yeerk War is over, they are kind of like, we have nothing to do.
Let's go to Earth and eat cinnamon buns.
No, but I mean, their military is like, we have nothing to do. We're just patrolling sectors.
Until Axe gets incorporated into the one and has a mouth, which is...
Yeah.
I haven't read that book in a long time, but I think of that and I'm still like, no. Mm-mm. No.
Especially whoever the one is, it's like the Borg.
It's just like Applegate, I think, has stated that the one hasn't been mentioned at all previously in the series.
Yeah, and so one thing is that I guess you would say he was assimilated. That's why I bring up the Borg analogy.
Shut up, Trekkie. Could give you a fucking red shirt.
Then that means that I think it's going to mean that I command you what to do. If
What?
you go by, yeah, remember, red shirt is in TOS. Red shirts.
I didn't hear you speaking.
Well, I was just saying that if I was a red shirt and this was TNG Next Generation, I would be commanding your ass because that's command red.
Well, you know what? You could command my ass any day of the week you wanted to.
That's for another episode.
You this was you. You walked right.
Making some hand gestures that were very obscene for the audio version, guys.
Not really. It was just like a hand banging into other hands.
But yeah, throughout the whole series, I'm really glad that she did, put them down a pedestal and learn that they're, that they're just like everybody else. There's corruption and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was good. Animorphs is really good at being a really complicated young adult series, which I wish more of them were like. I mean, Goofy, they need to be redone with non-Goofy covers. I love the covers. Mm-hmm. People don't take it seriously because they're, it's funny covers, but then you have something like this where the Animorphs aren't fighting for the good guys against the bad guys. They're fighting for jerks against other jerks.
Because once they realize that, it's like, oh, it's really just us.
It's actually a horror thing. In horror, let me take Cujo, favorite Stephen King book, and there comes a point where the mother and the son, are trapped in the car, and the police come, and of course the police get killed because you always need these figures of authority, destroyed, just so your heroes are on their own. There's not going to be anyone to save them. They're going to have to figure out how to save themselves. And that's Animorphs. They can't wait for the Andalites because the Andalites are sort of dicks except for a few members.
Yeah, they're kind of like, no, over here in this part of the galaxy is more important than the 7 billion humans that are on Earth. So they rather sacrifice us for something else.
Yeah.
So, but I think after the war and everything, when Axe becomes a prince, and then later, does he become a war prince in the epilogue? Because he has this.
War prince and prince are basically the same thing, right? Like they.
No, he was elevated to prince, on the Yerk ship, like on the spot, and then later on, those couple of years later, he was a war prince, and because he had his own ship, and apparently war princes um, are able to have their own ships. So, the Intrepid, and again with being a Trekkie, the Intrepid is the Intrepid class of the Starship Voyager. What was
Trying to destroy the Trekkie talk.
Shut up! I'm just tying it all together,
Yeah, I know. Trek. And for those wondering, Applegate is a Trekkie herself.
That's why I'm doing it!
I know you're doing it because you're an asshole. I like the new Abrams Star Trek movies, and I sort of like the Captain Picard ones, that are the reruns that are always on BBC America.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll watch a few of those and be happy. And the older series with Captain Kirk is fun, but the aliens just don't look real. I mean, they're aliens and they're fake, but it's like...
It's 1989 or whatever when the series started. Anyway, you just caught up...
No,
wait.
the Daleks look like bitter aliens.
Anyway,
and they have plungers.
You brought up something that I've been thinking about lately. Okay, if there was an Animorph movie, and going with the sci-fi trope, would Elfangor be English? Because it seems like all aliens are English.
You know what? I would like him with a British or an Irish accent, maybe Scottish.
Oh, I would totally go Scottish.
Or whatever accent Arnold Schwarzenegger has.
He's Austrian.
No, but he has his. But the thing is, I know he's Austrian, but he has his own special accent.
It's all those steroids that affected his voice.
I would okay, I want Elfangor to be voiced by Arnold Schwarzenegger or an Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonator.
No. If we're going realistic, I would say, Liam Neeson.
Oh my God, yes. What?
Yeah.
He's my favorite all-time celebrity crush. He's up there. He has been up there since I was 13 years old. He has not changed.
Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo is up there, but he's not Liam Neeson.
Yeah. Because you could get so many of the well-known British actors to play Andalites. And everybody like, wait, is that who? What? Because the thing is, the stereotype with almost every sci-fi TV series, in some way, the aliens are always English, or British, or whatever.
Scottish.
Yeah, they're Scottish, or But yeah, if there was a movie, I would want somebody like Liam Neeson, because he could deliver those brief lines he has, and everybody go, ooh, and then when he gets eaten, they're like, no, Liam!
No, wait, hang on. You can't have my favorite actor die again. I broke up in Star Wars Episode 1. I used to listen to the soundtrack, and I could tell the exact moment on the soundtrack that he died.
Me too.
I cried listening to the soundtrack.
But yeah, Andalites would probably have to be English or British, and I hate to say it, I don't want to sound all dull likely. So the Yerks would be German or French.
French people aren't that bad.
But the British hate the French with a passion.
Baguette. What? Oui, monsieur.
Or some kind of like Eastern European kind of thing. You know, when they're their yerk themselves, like in the person's head. Oh, what the hell was that? Something just happened in my house, and I don't know what.
It was funny. Now I'm imagining, our friend Trey has OC, Ty the human and Norpo the Yerk. I'm just
hmm
imagining Norpo now with a British, with a heavy French accent.
But yeah, you know, we can speculate, you know, Animorphs movie. Um, but yeah, I was actually thinking about this week. It's like, how can I bring this up? Of wouldn't you think seriously, Andalites would be British? It'd be the only way. You know, I know it's always like you gotta make them sound like otherworldly, and with Andalites when they're in thought speak, you know, I always thought that when you hear them in your head, it's almost like an echo effect.
Yeah.
You know, like it's almost like you have speakers in your head and you can hear them and you're like, what the fuck? You know, that's what everybody said pretty much is like, what, you know, who, where, when.
Wait,
And
what?
yeah, so it's always kind of like a speaker effect in your head when you hear them in thought speak. Um, uh, oh gosh, but yeah, you know, now I'm thinking about Animorphs movie. I know that Sony has the movie rights for it, so you know, Sony, listen to us. Get Liam Neeson as Elfangor. You don't have to pay him too much, you know, for maybe 10
I'll be
minutes.
the payment. I'm all up for that shit.
So yeah, Sony, get off your asses and make the
And I'll
Animorphs.
get onto his.
But is that it? I think that's it.
Yeah, we've like gone seriously off the last.
I know. It's like
This
Andalite.
is the worst podcast of keeping on topic since I finally made a structure for Jash Talks. You have outdone yourself, milady.
I was trying to keep it on topic.
I know, but the thing is, I think I should have done a better. I blame myself because I should have done a better job at structuring this, so we could like go off topic, but not really seem like off topic.
Yeah, I'll just edit this out.
No, it's okay. Keep it in. They need to know it's your fault.
It's my fault.
You can edit me blaming you out.
Oh, okay.
Just people that watch the YouTube version are, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, I think with the next time on with Extra Happy, we're talking about the Yerks.
Well, I think I sort of want to maybe change it up with the species, just so we don't get into a rut of just species and it possibly becoming boring.
Yeah.
But the Yerks, the Hork-Bajir, and the Toxins are definitely going to be getting their own episodes.
Well, I think Hork-Bajir and Taxon would be like a combo.
Yeah, you're right. Toxins don't really have...
No.
Yeah, nothing...
Except for Arbron, that's it.
Arbron, he was the Marco of the Andalite Chronicles.
Yeah, basically, but he was a good shot. And,
That's what Marco says.
And we're extra happy with that thought.
Okay, do you have any, since this is the only show you're going to be on this week, do you have any announcements you want to say?
We do have a Twitter. It is, some jerk has with extra happy with an E. That was taken.
It wasn't even an Animorphs Twitter either. I looked it up. It's like, really, you waste that on that?
So it's with XTRA. If you want to put it in all caps, you can, because that's the way I put it. Capital H happy on Twitter. And please join. I'll be trying to post something every day.
I get in her ass every day, and
yeah, she pokes at me on Facebook like, have you posted? Have you posted? So I try to post something.
Well, I asked,
And
have you posted, and that means I've checked and you haven't.
yeah, well, I try to post something at 12 o'clock Mountain Time every day. So what might be a little bit late for some people is, to me, I'm on time.
I'll post every now and again, just saying the next topic.
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
do
So
that. I'll
you
do
do
like
the topics.
topic announcements and the day it will be released, and you can do any editing of when one or both of us have schedule conflicts and have to stop.
Yeah. And by the way, I have in the works a title sequence.
For
So
the audio version.
yeah, for the audio version. So I'm
And the
going to be working on
explain
that.
of the Dalek.
Oh yeah, we will have the Daleks soon. So, but there we got the Twitter. It's on iTunes, the audio version. You can catch me on Twitter at Keetor84, Kheetor84. And for you on Twitter?
Jashykins, Jashykins.
And on Facebook, if you know us, you know us.
Yeah, and I do have a Facebook fan page, facebook.com/Jashykins fan page, and basically all my Twitter and Tumblr stuff get jammed into that. So
Yeah.
if you're not following me anywhere else, like if you don't have a Tumblr or Twitter, if you have a Facebook, you'll be fine, but you'll get overloaded with stuff.
Yeah. And
I'm thinking maybe if you do a good job with the Twitter, I'll try to set up a Tumblr for us to share.
yeah. Put some work on you.
No, I just do like the setup of outlining and stuff, and I have a addiction problem of creating Tumblrs.
Oh, by the way, I do have an announcement. I did buy Michael Grant's new book, Messenger of Fear, so I will be reading that, and when I do finish, if we can, in a future episode, after I finish and make a written review, I can review the book on the podcast, because Michael Grant is part of Animorphs.
Yeah, he was Marco Morph Grant, or didn't he, or something?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, we have to tell that story now that we brought Grant up, and then we will end this show.
Yes. If you guys don't know, Kay Applegate put her husband into the series with number 30, The Reunion, where Marco is trying to get into this building, and it seems like there's like a doorman or whatever like that, and so he just grabs the first person's hand that comes by into the building, pretending to be his son. And it says they describe him as a bald guy with glasses, with a receding hairline and a business suit, and they called him Mr. Grant. And so Marco acquires Mr. Grant, which I don't know why he would do it, because wouldn't his morphine suit make him naked?
Well, when the purpose of the morphine suit is so that you don't demorph and show off your U-Haul.
I know, but when he turned into Mr. Grant, I was like,
yeah, that manhood was praising Kay Applegate.
But she put her husband into the series, even though he did help.
Oh, hi, one viewer that's now watching the very end of the show.
Yeah, we're ending, and but anyway, Michael Grant did help, especially with the boys' point of view of things during the making of the series. So Michael Grant, anything with him, I will talk about, because he is the essential part for this. So I will review Messenger of Fear soon. I don't know when, but I got a few more books I gotta go through because I'm just OCD
and now the
about that.
left.
Yeah. Now that I'm alone, my parents are in Mississippi, I could get shit done.
Really?
But anyway, for this week on With Extra Happy, I am Keetor.
And I am Jashikins doing a really horrible job at policing this episode. Any final words?
Um, I don't know why you keep looking at my chest, even though I don't have boobs. Humans have boobs. So, why, I was trying to go with the whole, my eyes are up here.
You're doing so good.
I was? Okay.
And I was doing a good job and not cracking up. And,
Okay. Bye.
and until next video, goodbye.